All right, music is over. What's going on? Good evening. Another Ruckus night. The 12 nights of Ruckus continues with your host tonight, representing the Sports Hub with Wayne and Clark. I got my buddy Wayne on the other side of the screen. What's going on, Wayne? Good evening. We've got a lot to talk about.
You know how smug you sound right now?
What do you mean?
You know exactly what I mean. I, I see the smugness in your face, and I hate you a little bit for it.
Oh, before let's
You
not
want you
dive
want to
right in.
tell
I want to make
you don't want to dive right in and tell everyone why you're a smug son of a bitch?
Well, I listen. I'm smug right now because, I am excited about talking about the fact that, well, a lot of people thought, that I was completely crazy. So yeah,
Well,
so
you
I'm
are.
excited, man.
You are crazy. That's true.
Yeah,
That's a
I,
true
I'm
statement.
excited. But we got people coming in the room, so let's just welcome everybody first before we get dive right in. You know what I mean? I want to make sure everybody's there. Welcome everybody who's joining. I see Mac J is in the house. Salute. Cali Nuts is in the house. Kingman Kong 85 is also in the house.
While everyone's joining here in a moment, I just have a quick side question unrelated to sports. So I see a lovely Superman Returns poster right there on your screen. Is that Superman Returns? Did you actually enjoy that movie?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I was rather disappointed in it because, well, it just didn't really, it didn't capture what I was looking for in a Superman film. They made it too, I don't know, emo. He was real emo in that movie, you know? He was like depressed all the time.
You know that film? That film. So it looks I went back and watched it recently, and it is not aged well. But you know that film came out the same year as Batman Begins, which has
Yeah, well,
aged very well.
actually, Batman Begins came out in 2005, November, I believe it was, or June, as a matter of fact. So it was like a year later.
Okay, my point being is a similar time frame there.
Welcome, J6666. Go
A
ahead.
similar time frame, but it's very interesting because one of them is very has held up very well, and one has just definitely not. So
Yeah, but has
very
it?
interesting.
But has it?
It has not held up. Which you're saying that Batman Begins hasn't held up well? Is that what you're
No, no,
trying to say?
no. I'm saying, but has it?
Yes, it
Has it
has.
held up well?
It has.
I don't know about that.
I think you're
Maybe
crazy.
the Dark Knight, and that's about it. Because the third one, the Dark Knight Rises, wasn't that good. But
Yes,
that's a
it
whole
was.
other story.
Yes, it was. First of all, okay, I'm sorry. We gotta stop talking about sports for a second. You're crazy. The Dark Knight Rises, very misunderstood film. It is very good. I need you to go back and rewatch it. Get your head out of Superman world. Go check out some Batman so you can see how superhero movies are supposed to be made. Okay, then we'll come back and talk about that.
Oh, okay. So,
Anyway, let's move on before you embarrass yourself. Okay,
okay. Well, hold on. Allow me to retort.
I don't want you
We've
to
got
report.
people joining the room. Welcome, Jean Paul Shelton. Welcome, everyone that's joining us. This is another night of the 12 Nights of Ruckus with the Sports Hub with Wayne and Clark. Good evening. We have a lot to unpeel today. We have a lot to talk about. People will be apologizing to me. Yes, they will. Go.
Okay, you want me to
Kick us
talk about
off, Wayne.
why you're so smug?
Well, it's not that I'm smug.
You're a little
It is
smug.
just
No,
that
you are. You are. It's okay.
it's just
You
that
can be
everybody
smug.
thought I was crazy with my pick. So let's talk about it. Well, let's
Okay,
just kick off and
let
let's
me
talk
talk
about
about it. Let
last
me
week.
talk about it. Okay, so let me set a little bit of the stage here, so
Oh,
everyone has
please do.
context. You
Please.
have been on like riding Tom Brady's jock with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the last 3 weeks and talking about, oh, I'm in love with the Tampa Bay Bucks, and you've been wrong so many weeks. Okay, so badly. You
Mm-hmm.
have finally found your sweet spot, though, apparently, because last week you made some picks and magically, of which I just can't even fathom how this happened, you got all of them correct. So that is Bucks over Vikings, Chiefs over Dolphins, Colts over Raiders, and Bills over Steelers. I'm very impressed. I will tell you,
You
I'm
should,
I'm
as you
impressed.
should be,
I'm a little
and,
impressed.
and we'll unpeel those onion picks for
Okay,
sure.
we will. Now, what I
But
do want to mention that's kind of hilarious to me is we had a special guest last week, Mr. Mello, who is riding the Giants jock all the way to the dumpster. Um, so he was saying some crazy stuff last week. You were also saying some crazy stuff last week, but apparently he's crazier because he got every single one of his picks last week wrong. Every
yeah,
single
every
one.
single one.
He took
And
Vikings
I
over
found that
Bucks.
rather interesting because a lot of people gave me that work and said that, hey, this guy Mello knew more about sports than I did, and maybe he does, but he certainly doesn't know how to pick winning teams. I mean, let's be honest, he is a Giants fan, and he actually had the nerve to think that the Giants would have any chance in making the playoffs. But go ahead,
Well, they
let's
still
unpeel
do.
that
They
onion.
still have a chance of making the
Oh, I
playoffs.
know they do. I know they do. When you have a shit show of a division, of course you
Well,
do.
so it's interesting because that division. So the Giants reverted back to sucking this last week, but um, I mean, you've seen a resurgence. Washington beat Pittsburgh the Monday night game. Was it Monday or Tuesday night game of the last
Right.
week,
Welcome, Dark Eyes.
which was pretty surprising. And then you know, be still my soul. The freaking Eagles beat the Saints yesterday. So this
Well, we got to talk.
I'm
We
sure we'll talk
definitely
about it.
need to
Um,
unpeel that onion.
my point being that the Giants still could end up in the playoffs because you're realistically going to have a 6-10, 7-9 team from the NFC East is going to be in the playoffs. I mean,
Oh,
that's
what seed do they end up in?
they're
The
going to be the
last?
fourth seed because they'll be a
Oh, wow.
division winner, so
Right.
they'll play the top wild card team, which could be the Buccaneers. Which is so that's a rough way to open the playoffs against the Buccaneers because I don't think the Bucks are going to do anything in the playoffs, but that's still for a 7-9 team. That's a tough it's a tough wild card weekend.
Well, I mean, listen. I disagree with you, in saying that the Bucks, it's not going to go far in the
They're
playoffs.
not. They're not.
They're going to win a wild card spot. That's for
They're
sure.
gonna win the. I didn't say they're not going to get in. I think they'll get in. They'll probably win wild card weekend if they're playing that NFC East team, and then we're looking at an exit in the second round. That's my prediction for the Buccaneers right there. Done.
Okay. All
You feel
right.
good about that?
Okay.
Okay. So I know you want to talk crap about the Saints.
Please
So go
indulge me.
ahead. What do you got? What do you got for
Well,
me?
let's talk about this. I mean, I did say that the Saints would struggle,
You
and well, I mean, listen, I think correct me if I'm wrong. I did predict that the Saints. What was my prediction? Remind me again.
we didn't make any prediction of that game.
Hmm. But I'll be honest with you, knowing the shit show that Philadelphia is, I probably would have picked your precious Saints to win. So yeah, there you go. But
Same.
let's unpeel what happened there. It a series of misfortunes that led to should have been a very decisive game being just, I don't know, just like pissed away. Unacceptable from a team that, in all intent purposes, headed to the Super Bowl or trying to. You're not going to get there by losing against Philly.
I would
What say
agree.
you?
So there's two big things of why the Saints lost this game. First being, and I noticed this on the opening drive, it looked to me, well, so I'll boil it down to this. I don't say this very often. It feels like Sean
Mhm.
Payton did not come into that game with the right game plan. It truthfully didn't. And I noticed this on the first drive because it looked like the offensive game plan was as if Drew Brees were in the game. So it was Taysom Hill making 7-step drops, trying to read the defense, and make adjustments. And he's not that guy. I mean, he's just not. He's a mobile quarterback. You've got it. We're talking quick passes, giving him the option of scrambling, some runs. I mean, that's how you've won with him previously. And
Right.
I'm not even kidding. The first like 4 or 5 passes he threw, it was a 7-step drop, expecting him to make a play down the field, and that works some. I mean, Michael Thomas had I think 6 or 7 catches. He had a couple of touchdown passes, which were nice, but I mean, they struggled in the first half. They put up no points in the first half. So that game plan there was clearly not the right one. And going into Kansas City, they're still saying that Drew Brees is questionable at best. So
Right.
you've
I mean, well, let me ask you
you've
this.
got to adjust that game plan.
Right. Now, do you look at it in the perspective of if the Bucks continue to win, and let's say they lose again, let's say you err on the side of caution, you don't bring in Drew Brees, you lose against the Chiefs, and you still have the ability to be the division winner based on the tiebreaker because of winning the 2 games. Do you run that strategy if you're Sean Payton?
Well, the Saints' big thing right now is trying to get that first seed still. They're in second. They're a half game back from Green Bay because this year, with the expanded playoffs, 7 teams from each division, from each conference, get into the playoffs. And so only the first seed gets a bye in the first round. So that number one seed becomes that much more important. Whereas previous years, the top two got a bye. So um, that's the strategy right now because the NFC South, the Saints, if they win one more game this year, or if the Buccaneers lose one more game this year, the Saints win that division. It's as simple as that at this point. But the second thing that happened that they've got to figure out is the Saints defense has done so well this year, being aggressive, getting to the quarterback, attacking the football, and that works whenever you have an immobile quarterback. This game, there was a lot of over pursuit towards the runner in a read option format or an over pursuit to the quarterback when he dropped back. And so with Jalen Hurts, a guy who runs like a 4.5 or 4.5 40. And he took advantage of that. The guy quarterback ran for over 100 yards. So that definitely hurt. And there was some gap assignment issues in the run game that you don't normally see. But yeah, those are the two big things that caused the Saints to lose yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I mean, was the speaking about the Philadelphia Eagles, is replacing Carson Wentz the spark that the Philadelphia Eagles needed, or was this a fluke?
It's hard to say, honestly. I feel like I don't think that Carson Wentz is a bad quarterback. I think Carson Wentz has played poorly this year. But I mean, if you go back to 2018, I think it was. I mean, this is a guy that they were talking about a potential MVP in 2018 prior to getting injured. So I mean, the talent is there. I just kind of wonder if the Eagles system is the one to develop him. They're going to move on and go to Jalen Hurts. So I mean, I guess we'll see. But Carson Wentz is kind of this classic quarterback that I look at in the NFL right now that's struggling. That I feel like if they're in a better system, they'll do much better. And that's like Mitch Trubisky, Sam Darnold, Carson Wentz. Like, I don't think that there's a talent necessarily lacking, but I feel like they've been in really bad situations where they haven't been developed. So, I mean, you could see them moving, I think, in the next season or so.
Right. Well, JPS Shelton says his Vegas Raiders suck. So if we're ready to move on, what do you say about the Raiders just kind of like segueing in their loss?
Well, yeah. So that's actually I had looked at kind of what the playoff bubble was looking like and who's still in and who's still not. And so the Raiders are still technically they're in the hunt. They're 7-6 right now. Miami has the last wild card spot at 8-5, so they're a game back in the wild card. Raiders have some problems on defense. And I believe they just recently fired their defensive coordinator, is what I read earlier. So it doesn't look good for them. I don't expect the Raiders to be in the playoffs this year.
Really? Wow.
No, they're
okay.
not.
That's a big
time with them. I have a tough time saying they'll be in the playoffs because I mean Miami gave the Chiefs all they could ask for.
Yeah, they
yesterday,
sure did.
and I think
I can't wait to talk about that because I know there were a lot of people that thought I was crazy to even say that the Miami Dolphins would give them a run for their money.
Well, it was a weird game. Patrick Mahomes coming into that game, if you're okay talking about this now, we can. But Patrick Mahomes came into that game throwing 2 interceptions all year. He threw 3 yesterday,
Right.
which automatically puts Miami in a really advantageous spot. I will say that I put money on the Chiefs when they went down 10-0. That paid
Oh
off really
wow.
well for me. But it's kind of though because that team, like you feel like they're never out of a game. I mean,
Right.
realistically, at any given point, you could have Tyreek Hill streaking down the sideline for some 50-yard touchdown pass, or you need some yards from Travis
Right.
Kelsey, and Patrick Mahomes just delivers it. And I don't know, that team just never feels like they're out of it. But I was impressed. Miami did give them a run for their money, so I have a hard time feeling like Miami's going to lose that last wild card spot. So I don't think. I think the
Well,
Raiders
I
and
mean, does
Ravens are going
does
to be out.
Miami get in on the strength of the defense?
Yes. They're
Okay.
not well because they have a very vanilla game plan right now with Tua.
Right.
Like they're treating him with kid gloves. I mean, which I get. He's what,
Right.
22.
Well, was it a mistake to change the hot hand when you had the journeyman in there? When you had Fitz in there, or what are
No.
your thoughts there?
So Fitzpatrick's a really good stopgap, like when you need him to be. Some
Hmm.
good,
Hmm.
and the guy has like these really weird games where you're like, man,
He
that's a Hall
does.
of Fame quarterback there.
Right.
Jeez. And
And
then the
then he
next game,
and
it's
then
like
he
this
throws
guy's
like 20
never. Well,
interceptions on
yeah,
the
it's
second.
It's the
Right.
weirdest thing. So he's like a really high upside, but really bad low side. And when you do have a pretty strong defense, that's not what you need. You need somebody who's going to stabilize the ship. And that's what Tua brings is he's he's not going to win the game for you, but it doesn't seem like he's going to lose the game necessarily for you. At least not to the degree that it felt like Fitzpatrick was doing. So
Right.
I think it was the right move. And also, let's be honest, Fitzpatrick isn't your future. Tua is. So you want to know what you've got. You want to begin developing him, get him some reps, in the game. So that makes sense to me to move on and bring
Right.
in Tua.
No, it does. Well, I mean, it definitely will be brilliant if they end up in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
I think they
Which, in
will.
all 10 purposes, they're looking like they will. And so that's going to be a team to look at. Getting back to the picks, what are the other picks? Let's go through the picks and let's unpeel those picks and just kind of look at
Yeah.
what you and I and Mello, our guest from last week, that's that wild and crazy guy from Giants fan, that drunken Giants fan from
Drunken Giants fan.
Wisconsin.
So I just want to refer back to my notes here as to specifically what Mello picked. So he took Vikings, Dolphins, Raiders, Bills, and Browns, and the Browns play tonight against the Ravens. So we won't give him the loss on that one yet because we all chose the Browns. But Vikings, Dolphins, Raiders, and Bills. Those were Mello's picks. Yeah, and then I got wrong the I took the Raiders and the Steelers were the ones I got wrong last week. So, I mean, first up, Bucks over the Vikings. I thought early on in that game the Vikings were coming with
You
something.
did. Right,
They
right.
could not hit a field goal or an extra point to save their life. Dan
No.
Bailey is out here shanking kicks left and right. And
What
look,
was it? Four? Was it four field goals
I
that he
don't.
missed?
I stopped
I
watching at
thought it
the
was
point that he
four.
missed the second field goal because
Right.
they
I
brought
think
him
it
out.
was four.
Yeah, they brought
I'm
him
not
out
sure it would have changed
really
the
long.
outcome of the game, though.
I think it would have a little bit because at that point they could have been up 13 or 14 to nothing on the Buccaneers. And so the mindset there for a team has to change versus the Buccaneers being down 6-0, which is what it was. So then it's just one score and then the Bucks are right in this thing. And so it
Right.
definitely changes the dynamic of the game. But yeah, the Bucks won that. We both called that. We talked about the Chiefs and Dolphins a little bit. We had
So who? Okay. So who? Let's go through the. Let's do the tallying. I like to hear who was right and who was wrong.
You were right.
So
You were 4-0. I was 2-2.
yeah.
Mello was 0-4. Does
Right.
that make
So
you
I
feel good
mean,
about yourself?
it does make me feel good. It makes me feel a
You
little
get
bit
the pat on the
vindicated.
back.
I know we had a lot of people, including Mr. J, that thought I was absolutely absurd, And yeah, absolutely. And we've got a few people in here as well that I know we've got MQ who says he could run a better sports show. However, put your money where your mouth is, pal. I don't ever see you doing that. And you know what? You may think I suck, but I don't see you coming on and doing your own sports bar. Whatever happened to the sports bar? Oh, that's right. It closed down for business. All right. Anyway, moving right along. What were the other picks that we had in mind
Uh,
before we go to our
Col-
playoff picks?
Colts over Raiders. So you had Colts. I took the Raiders there. We talked a little bit about that too, and then the Bills over Pittsburgh, which is interesting because the Steelers just 2 weeks ago were talking undefeated season, and they've
Exactly.
now dropped two straight.
So let's unpeel that. Let's stop for a second
You
here and
love that
unpeel
word
this.
unpeel. What? I'm
Yeah,
gonna give
let's
you a
unpeel this
thesaurus
sports
for
onion.
Christmas.
Well, let's unpeel this football, shall we? This oblong ball,
Oblong. Okay.
made out of pigskin, right?
They
And
don't
back in
actually
the
make.
day.
They don't. The back in the day, they don't make it out of pigskin anymore.
No, I know. But listen, let's be honest here. I had brought up my concerns, my sources, in fact,
Your
from
source.
the NFL were telling me that there was some problems that were happening, that they were concerned about a few things. And I started this conversation back when they barely won. It was they've lost two. It was the game that they barely won, and I can't even remember it. Right, things happen so quickly, but I knew that there was a problem there. They came in, they lost the last week game against. Remind me, Wayne, who was it that they lost up against?
They lost to Washington and then the Bills
Right,
this past week.
right. Washington, I got to give them credit. We'll talk about them because I still think that they have a contention to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
But
Chase
what was
Young, baby, Chase Young.
Yeah, very, very impressed there. But specifically though, getting back to the Steelers, I think there's a problem with Ben, Big Ben
Yeah, he's
Rossberg,
old.
and yeah, and
Well,
concern for his health going into the stretch. What are your
I
thoughts?
mean, his health. Like he's got
Pardon me.
he's got old man problems. But the thing with Big Ben, so Big Ben forever, a lot of his strength has been the fact that he doesn't make sacks. He improvises really well. He doesn't take sacks. Sorry, he improvises really well, makes plays happen whenever everything breaks down. It's really hard to sack the
Thank
guy
you, David Cassidy.
because he's a fucking giant. Um, he's old now. I mean, he
Yeah,
is,
he's old.
and so right now it looks like they don't push the ball down the field. They're trying to make sure he's not getting hit. The receivers are dropping balls all over the place.
Yep.
That's happening way too much, and they don't run the football. So I mean, I think back just a few years ago.
Thank you, Connor, for becoming a big bust. Go ahead.
I don't know what you're even saying anymore. You're just like you like interject and you start saying words. I don't even know. Anyway,
Connor,
James
the
Conner.
running
Yes.
back.
Well, see, sometimes you're referring to what I'm talking about, and then sometimes you start talking about who's
Well, you know
commenting.
what?
Very
Let's not fuel the fire now,
killing me.
Wayne. Let's not fuel
You're
the fire where
killing
there
me.
is nothing in there.
Anyway,
All right.
so
Thank you,
again,
Hilco Boseman, for reminding me about coughing into the mic.
oh sweet
Salute,
baby
David. Go
Jesus,
ahead.
I'm gonna take your comment privileges away. You're
Well,
on the
I'm sorry.
board for
I'm
losing
engaged. Listen,
comment
I'm
privilege.
engaging the audience. They're saying
Yeah,
hello
but
to you,
nobody
Wayne.
can complete a thought because you keep talking to the listener.
Okay. All right. I tell you what.
Okay.
I apologize, Wayne. Let's not air our dirty laundry like Rich does with me on another show. So let's just
What
continue
I
on.
am saying is if you look back even like 3 years ago when Le'Veon Bell was there, they were running the football really, really well. They took a lot of pressure off the passing game. And so even then you kind of had this aging Roethlisberger. Um, he doesn't have that anymore. Like he
Mhm.
doesn't, and he's not in a situation where he can just
Right.
do this on his own. They've won some really dirty, nasty games throughout this year,
Hmm.
but at this point, I think the controllable thing for them, you've got to get some reps in with these receivers. The drop passes are killing him. If you have the opportunities, you have to make the plays. And so
Right.
it's very interesting what's going to happen with the Steelers because the Chiefs now have the number one seed in the AFC after
Mhm.
both of these losses. So, um, well, very interesting here last couple of weeks as to what's going to happen between the Chiefs and the Steelers.
Well, here's what I think. I think that the Steelers are going to run into a huge buzzsaw. You already have the Chiefs, having a unnecessary loss. I think the Steelers they're going to have a tough time. I mean, listen, they're 11. Correct me if I'm wrong. 11-2 now.
Yes, 11-2.
So they end up with a. We have what, 3 more games left, right?
Yep.
I'm predicting they're going to end up 11-4, maybe 11-5.
Well, it's either 12-4 or 11-5.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, but those
You
are
think
my
they're going to
thoughts there.
lose out? You think it's
No,
a
I
possibility
don't
they
think
lose out?
so.
Well, if they go
Well,
11-5,
there's
then
three
they're
more
automatic.
games.
That's what I mean, though. If you're saying 11-5, that means they're losing these last 3. You think that's a possibility?
Well, they're okay. So right now they're 11-2. I'm sorry. So if I'm thinking they end up either 11-3 or 11-4.
So
Does that make
13 and
sense?
3 or 12-4 is what you're saying.
Right. Right.
Your wording is very confusing, but yes, that does make sense. Um, yeah, we'll see. I don't know that AFC. I mean, it looks like it's the Chiefs to lose at this point. I don't know who's gonna contend with the Chiefs in the AFC. Honestly,
Right.
I
Well, I mean, it's possible. I
I
think you
mean,
know how you get.
anything is
The
possible, but
defense has to step up, and they have to put an enormous amount of pressure at at the quarterback. Now, if they do that, if they put that pressure on him and continue to maintain that pressure, then I think that's where he starts making mistakes. But let's be honest. I mean, Patrick Holmes is he's an elite quarterback.
yeah, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league right now. I don't
Yeah.
think that's a debatable thing.
No.
So as
Exactly.
long as their defense can be mediocre the rest of the way, I mean, the Chiefs are a lock to be in the Super Bowl. I mean,
Yeah. No.
that's not even like a hot take. That's just a matter of fact. So there's nothing even that controversial about that. Now, um, yeah. Now let's talk a little bit though about the bubble teams in the NFC. We spent a lot of time talking
Yes,
about the
please.
AFC. So let's talk about
Yeah,
the
we
bubble.
did. But you know what? We needed to unpeel it. I just wanted people to know that hey, if you would have went with all my picks, you would have ended up maybe a
Jesus.
lot
Can't
money in your
wait
pocket.
until you go 0-3 next week. I'm so excited for you
Okay,
to
well
go
we'll
0-3
see
next
about
week.
that. All right. Well, keep rolling. Go
All
ahead.
right, in the NFC, the NFC is a little bit more clear. So the NFC, you have the Cardinals who have the last wild card spot right now at 7-6,
Mhm.
and then you have Vikings at 6-7 and Bears at 6-7. It doesn't seem feasible to me that anybody but the Cardinals gets in there. I think the NFC is fairly set as to which team you have going.
So you think the Bears is done?
Bears are done.
Okay.
You know, the Bears, though. So here is something that I have been thinking about. Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky
We
has,
did talk about him too.
yeah. So Mitch Trubisky is not has not done well at Chicago, right?
No.
He's not done well. Um, but I've talked to some Bears fans, and I think the general consensus is that the Bears coaching staff is hot dog shit. Okay, and I can't disagree with that. I would love,
They
love.
didn't do the kid any favors.
No, they have not. So I would
Who would you
love
pair him with?
Sean Payton in New Orleans. That's where I wanted to go. I was thinking this through, and I'm like, okay, a post Breeze era where Breeze retires, what quarterbacks are available outside of the draft that you could bring in and develop that have the skill set? And Mitch Trubisky was the first one that came to my mind.
I don't see it happening.
Why not?
I don't see it happening. I
Why
just
not?
don't. Well, for one, I don't think that I don't think New Orleans is going to. I mean, listen, didn't they choose this kid that they have right now? What as a wasn't he drafted in the third
No,
round
he's
or
undrafted. Taysom Hill? Are we talking about Taysom Hill?
no? The one that's in there now that throws interceptions all the way around. Jameis Winston.
Okay, so Jameis Winston wasn't drafted by the Saints. He was drafted by the Bucks in the first overall pick.
Right, first overall pick. But what I'm trying to say is that do you bring him in as a starter or right away, or do you bring him in as a backup, or does he try
Mitch
to fight?
Trubisky? No, are we talking Trubisky or Jameis? I'm very confused about where you're going
I'm
with
talking about Mitch Trubisky.
Mitch Trubisky. If you make the deal for Mitch Trubisky, he's coming in to be developed as the starter. Like that's the play. If you do that, if you do that deal, that's the play.
Okay, gotcha. So, and
Jameis
do
Winston's
you
a
think they'll go
non-factor.
for it? I mean, but do you think they'll go for it? I mean, do you think that? I mean, let's be honest. Like, in order to get, what is it going to take to get the Bears to trade Mitch?
It's gonna take a
To
load of picks. It's
okay,
gonna take
right.
so many picks. But
But is New Orleans going to make that sacrifice and give up those picks?
potentially, yes. So the two teams I see though is I could see the Saints moving picks to get him, or like a Patriots or someone like that. Like
Right.
some
Mac
like
J, real quick. Mac J. Adams says, FOH out of here. Wayne, the Bears are making the playoffs. So he feels very much so, that he's making it. Mr. J has joined. Welcome, Mr. J. He says that Mitch is not good enough to start. And I'll be honest with you,
he
I
doesn't
was
look like
thinking
he
the
is
same
right
thing.
now. Right now, he doesn't look like he is. I would agree, but I also
Well,
think that
right.
you put him in a really shitty situation. And he if you take him into a organization that's being run really well right now with a really solid coaching staff, I mean it's a different ball game at that point.
Mm. Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, like if Drew Brees retires, and do you think Drew Brees is going to retire
Yeah.
after this season,
Yes, I do.
no matter what?
I think it's going to be. I think the body is starting to break down. I think it's going to be tough to continue after this year.
Okay, so this is it, right?
If
This
I
is
had to put money on it, yes, I would say this is it.
okay. So this is the last hurrah, the OK corral for Drew Brees.
If I had to call it right now, yes.
Okay, all right,
So I'm looking at some of these players that are being kind of considered as busts, like Sam Darnold or Trubisky. I mean that those are the kind of people that I feel like organizations like the Saints and Patriots are looking for. Really strong coaching staffs. Who can you bring in to develop? You're not going to have a number one overall pick that you can. You're not going to be able to go get Trevor Lawrence. So
right.
what do you do? With the most important position moving forward, and so that those are the names that I could really see making a move to those organizations here in the next year.
So Jameis Winston is not going to go anywhere in New Orleans.
I think that it is a huge indictment of Jameis Winston that the Saints coaching staff decided to start a tight end gadget player at quarterback over Jameis Winston.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
Because
All
that's
right,
them telling the whole league that this guy doesn't have it.
right. Well, let's move on and let's move on to the picks that the playoff bubble. Let's go back to that.
No, we already talked about that. Whoever it was that thinks the Bears are getting in the playoffs, I mean, get out of here.
Right.
Quit doing Kristen. It's bad for you.
Yeah. Well, Mac J says that the Bears are going to win the last 3 games, and that Mitch balled out yesterday, and he's only going to get better.
Mitch did have a good game yesterday, but I don't three. I'm not a believer. Not a believer. We'll talk about it if they do. Let's talk about next week.
Yeah, let's unpeel that next week pick. Go for it.
I need to get a pen here so I can write down how wrong you are for next week.
All right. Well, let's do
so
that.
I have 3 games chosen for us to look at. First one, Bears and Vikings, since we're talking about the Bears. So right now, Minnesota 3-point favorites. So as a reminder, we picked just straight up last week because we had Mello on and it was just simpler that way.
So, okay. So Minnesota against who?
Minnesota against the Bears. So the spread is 3 points. So the Vikings have a 3-point edge. So when you pick, you're picking against the spread, not just winners or losers. Who do you have?
Okay. I have the Vikings winning. and I have them winning by a touchdown.
All right, so you're taking Vikings straight up
Mm-hmm.
and to cover.
And to cover. They're going to cover the 3 and some.
Okay. Um, I am going the opposite way. I think the Bears will cover that 3 because if they do lose, I think it'll be like a last second field goal or something of that nature. So I
Are
am
you
going
predicting
Bears.
they win?
That's not what the game is it?
All
It's about the spread.
right. Well, I'm saying that they're going to cover the spread.
Okay, so
So the
you think
Vikings are going to
Vikings are
cover.
covering the spread? I think Bears are
Yeah.
covering the spread. Okay. All right. So next, Patriots and Dolphins. We talked a lot about the Dolphins. We talked a little bit about the Patriots today. Miami is a 2.5 point favorite over the Patriots. The Patriots, for all intents and purposes, are out of the playoffs, although they are technically not eliminated as of yet. But they are on life support here. Who do you have?
Um. So they benched Cam Newton, right?
They did.
I'm going to go with Miami. I'm going to go with Miami under the defense and the quarterback that they're going to be playing is not going to rise to the challenge.
Yeah,
So I say,
you'll at least get one right next week because I agree. I don't think the Patriots win that game.
yeah, I say, and we say it's by what, 3?
2.5.
I say it'll go above that.
Okay, so you think Miami's covering the spread then?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm watching you. I feel like I have to explain the spread quite a bit.
No, I
Okay,
got you.
just making sure we're on the same page here.
Yeah,
All
real
right.
quick here. Mr. J wanted to know what happened to the Giants fan who wanted Danny Jones to come back. Arizona smoked the Giants with Danny Jones. Yeah, he certainly did. Hey, listen, we said it last week. We know what the Giants were. We knew what they were. And they showed up to who they exactly were. And they did what we thought they were going to do.
Yeah,
They shit the bed
yeah,
with
Melo's
Danny
hiding
Jones.
today. I haven't
Oh, of
seen
course
him.
he is.
I haven't
The
seen him on
dude was
social media or
crying. He
anything.
was crying.
He was
Okay? He
screaming.
was drunk out of his mind in the middle of a Midwest bar crying. Because you know what happened? The Giants did exactly what we thought they would do, Wayne. And they were exactly who we thought they were. They were the team we thought they were, and they did what we thought they did. Go ahead.
All right, Romeo Cornell. I will encourage everyone if you
The
happen
late,
to,
great, by the way.
yes, if you happen to meet Melo in real life and you're going to a football game, bring him along. It will be hilarious because he will be drunk and he will be shouting at everyone. Do yourself a favor,
Absolutely agree.
invite him. It'll be a good time. I promise you. We've both been there. It was awesome. Great times. Anyway, I digress entirely. But yes, Mr. J, he's off hiding somewhere. Doesn't want to face the music, so because he's a wuss. Um,
Absolutely.
all right.
Well, and just for the record, for all the listeners, I did invite him to be able to, defend his team, his precious Giants, to come on today. He denied the request. He's still in mourning. Let's move on.
Of course he is. All right. Final game. Chiefs and Saints. Chiefs are 3.5 point favorites on the Saints.
Oh man. I'm going to tell you something.
In the Superdome.
The Chiefs.
Hold on, let me give you all the facts. I just want you to
Okay,
have
give me the
facts.
facts first. Give me the
So
facts
it's
first.
in the Superdome. It's not out in the weather in Kansas City. Right now, Breeze is questionable, has not been ruled out. The line right now is 3.5 on that
with
information.
the Chiefs winning.
Chiefs winning by 3.5 is the spread, is the Vegas spread right now.
I think the Chiefs cover the spread. I think the Chiefs win the game. I think you're blinded by the fact that you just love that team and you will refuse. The writings on the wall. They don't win unless now if Drew Brees, comes into the lineup, he's still not going to be 100% Drew Brees. He's going to be a 43-year-old Drew Brees who had like 8 ribs broken.
11.
Yeah, even worse. Welcome, Jamaria. Welcome
So
to the room.
here's the take right here for you. On Sunday, I'm going to tell you that the Chiefs have not seen a pass rush like the Saints. Haven't seen it yet. Mahomes has all damn day to sit back there and make decisions. It's really easy to throw 50-yard bombs whenever you have 10 seconds to sit back there and think about it and wind up and throw it. That isn't happening. The
That's
Saints
true.
have an excellent pass rush.
Yeah, they do.
Excellent pass rush.
Actually, they have a superior pass
They
rush.
do. They have,
Yeah.
I would contend, the best front four in football. Overall, you have great front four. I don't
And
think
yeah,
you're not going to see those long throws down the field like they were doing every other game this year with Tyreek Hill, because I don't think he has time. Now, I do think Tyreek Hill's better than Janoris Jenkins and Marshawn Lattimore as far as the matchup against the corners go. But if the Saints get pressure on Mahomes and he doesn't have that time back there, the Saints are in this game the whole way. I believe that 100%. I will also tell you, Chiefs defense is incredibly bad. They are not a good team on defense.
Yeah, well, Mr. J mentioned that too, that they were pretty suspect.
Yes,
So
yeah, they're not a good defensive football team. Okay, so I do still think the Chiefs are the team to beat in the NFL, but I also believe that the Saints just came off of an embarrassing showing against the Eagles, and there's no way they don't show up ready to play this game. I'm going Chiefs. The Saints to win outright. Put it down.
Okay, well, I am telling you the Chiefs will win, and the Saints will not.
We'll see, won't we?
You could take that to the bank, my friend.
We'll see. So right now, just as a reminder for everyone, picks. Bears, Vikings. You have Vikings. I have Bears. Chiefs, Saints. You have Chiefs. I have Saints. And we both took the Dolphins over the Patriots. There's a part of me that wants to take the Patriots over the Dolphins just because I want you to be 0-3 and me to be 3-0 because it makes me feel better. But I can't stomach the Dolphins and Patriots thing. I have a hard time talking myself into that one. So,
well, yeah, I mean, it's just not going to happen. You're going to see. Listen, you're blinded by the fact that you have so much immense loyalty to your precious Saints.
Maybe.
I mean, listen, their defense is amazing. But as Mr. J has said, the Saints continue to blitz him a lot. That is Mahomes will definitely make them pay, and I agree with that.
We'll see. I do. Look,
I agree with Mahomes, that 100%.
I'm going to tell you that I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I have not. There's no way for me to sugarcoat that. I think that to be 100% factual. But I can't imagine a Sean Payton coach team not showing up for this game. I can't imagine it. They've been on the road the last 3 weeks, and they're finally back indoors. I don't know. I have a hard time picturing it. So maybe, well, I mean, look, maybe I am blinded by the loyalty, and that's possible. But what I will say is this: I'd rather be loyal and wrong than a bandwagon Buccaneers fan like you.
Oh, come on. Let's stop. First and foremost, let's okay, I'm glad you segued into the final topic, right? Let's talk about the Bucs. The Bucs won exactly how I predicted. I said that they
3 weeks. Yeah.
Well, regardless, I predicted that they would. Let me finish. They would win decisively, and they did. Now, they struggled in the beginning. Yes, they did. But they came forward and they did what they needed to do from the offensive side. The defense came in and had some great plays. And you know what? They won. And they won against the Minnesota Vikings, who, listen, let's be honest, they're not a bad team. They're a good team. They're struggling, though. Period.
I think you want to be right so badly. But outside of this show, you and I have talked a lot about the Buccaneers. And you and all the other people in the Tampa Bay area who are hopping on this bandwagon, get up off of it. Acknowledge that you weren't actually fans to begin with. Find some loyalty in a team somewhere and stop this on again, off again. I cannot tell you how many just like bullshit text messages I get on a daily basis of, oh, look at the Bucs, and then they disappear the moment the Bucs are losing. Where have all these people been over the last 15 years?
Well, first and foremost, listen, I never professed to be a Bucks fan. I simply
Uh-huh.
am
Uh-huh.
following.
You're
I
following the
am
trend,
following the. No, I
like a
didn't say I was
bandwagon
following a
hopper.
trend. No, I was not a bandwagon. I was always rooting for the Bay Area team. I did root for the Bay Area team since they were sucking back in the Tony Dungy days when he brought them to greatness. While he may not brought them to the promised land, that was by Chucky, and I think by default. I still think that the Bucks were mismanaged by poor leadership in coaching, as well as really just completely inept, quarterbacks that were unable to really, rise to the occasion with consistency. So,
That's all
you know,
true. That's all true. But you've been really on that bandwagon all year. All
yeah,
year.
absolutely. So
Okay,
what?
so you
I'm
admit
on
that
the
you're a
bandwagon.
bandwagon
All
fan.
right, you want me to admit
You're not a real
that
fan. You're not a
no,
real fan.
no, I didn't say that.
Yeah,
What
well,
I'm
that's what you
saying
just
is,
said.
did I get excited? Did I get excited that you know what? We have Tom Brady here as a quarterback that could
We
potentially
what we
bring the Bucks to the playoffs. Absolutely. When I say we, I say the home team. I've been a Bucks fan. Was I happy with them these last 10, 15 years? No, absolutely not. They were absolutely atrocious, and they deserved what they got from me. And that was just,
you only
what are
cheer
you
for them when
doing?
they're winning. That's the thing. You only cheer for them when they're winning. That's what you're saying.
Well, listen, Clark, like, listen, and you know what, Mr. J, real quick, I will tell you, I actually met Warren Sapp. That's for another time. But I agree with you there. The defense with Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks and all those guys from that Super Bowl team. Yeah, I listen. The 2000, I believe it was the 2002 Buccaneers went to the Super Bowl against the Raiders and beat the Raiders handedly on the wings of the defense. You know what I'm
What are we
saying? So.
talking about? 18 years ago? Is that what we're talking about right now? 18
Oh,
years ago.
I'm just
So,
bringing up
so,
something. And
so
Mr. J,
you
you can
laugh.
say I'm a fair weather fan. I don't care.
You are
I,
though.
I'm I am not a fair weather fan. I
Yes.
am a fan
Oh my
of
god.
winners.
That's a fair
Winners.
weather fan. You are a fair.
Winners.
Yeah. So
I
you
didn't
jump
say
from
I.
team to team. No, get out of here. No, no, no.
Listen, I appreciate them
Loyalty.
when they win, and I
Loyalty.
appreciate them when
Find
they
some
do well.
loyalty. You need to find some loyalty in your life.
Whatever, man.
Find some
Listen,
loyalty.
I'm loyal, and I don't need to be loyal to the Bucks.
Find a team. Stick with them. Don't jump from team to team. That's the most like
I listen.
nonsense football fandom I've ever heard.
Well, first of all, listen, I have not. Tell me this. In the years that you've known me, right?
Hmm.
Almost a decade, right,
Yep.
Wayne?
Yep.
Have I ever told you that I was a fan of any other sports team in football?
You told me you
Just at
like
least give me that.
you told me you liked the Giants several years ago because you were very
I,
loyal.
I never did. In fact, when
100%
you
did.
and I
You
and Crazy
100% did.
Mello went to a Giants
And you
game
were cheering for the
against
freaking
Tampa Bay
Giants.
Buccaneers, I was not.
Yes, you were.
Absolutely not.
You
That is
100%
a you. That is an absolute bold face,
no.
inaccurate
What are you
depiction of
talking
the
about?
facts.
No, it is 100% the
You
facts.
are absolutely false.
No, you latch on to whatever team that you can associate with a location that you've lived in or been at some point in time. That's what you do. Fair weather. Fair weather. Choose a team. Stick with it. Last thing. Ravens and Browns tonight. We're running out of time. I don't have time for
All
the
right.
long.
The
Ravens and
Browns
Browns.
are going to win this game.
Ravens are let me tell the spread, man.
Listen,
Spread.
we
Spread.
got 20 minutes. We got 20 minutes before before.
The
If you guys want to
spread.
make a last minute bet,
The
I'm telling
spread
you,
is
the spread
what is the
is
spread?
going to be as follows:
Oh, okay. What's the spread? You said you won't let me tell you.
Browns 7+.
The Ravens are favored by 3 coming into this game.
The Browns will win by 7.
You think the Browns are going to win by 7?
Listen, everyone, the Browns will win at 7. A
I
football game will be played tonight. Listen, Cleveland Browns. Remember, I told you all that the Cleveland Browns, they believe in themselves. They're coming in to make a statement game. They're making it tonight.
I think the Browns cover. I don't know if I'm ready to say they're going to win outright, but I do think they'll cover the 3-point spread, at least. I'm not ready to make this definitive statement that you are about the Browns like coming out tonight.
Well, I think they're going to make a statement win. Mr. J disagrees with me. You know what? I may be out of my mind. I might be crazy, crazy like a fox. But you know what?
Are you?
I'm going. I'm going. Listen,
Did
I'm
Melo
not
do
drunk.
something?
I am going with Cleveland to win. And you know what? We'll talk about it when they win.
I think they'll cover. I'm not as you think the Browns by a touchdown.
I think the Browns by a touchdown. I think they're going to win by a touchdown.
I think it's going to be closer than that. I could see the Browns winning, but I think
it'll be close until the end. There will be an explosive play. Hear me out, everybody. An explosive play at the end, whether it's by the defense or the offense of Cleveland Brown, that will decide the game and will give what I said to exceed the spread by 7. At least 7.
Do you think Baker Mayfield throws over or under 1 interception tonight?
What's the ranked defense on Baltimore right now?
I don't have that data in front of me.
All right. Well, I will tell you that I think he throws at least 1 interception.
No, it's an over/under proposition here. Do you think
okay.
0 or more than 1?
Okay, I think he does more. I think he does 0.
You think he goes 0?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah,
hey, real quick.
There's no way he doesn't throw more than 1 interception.
Well, you never know. I mean, listen, I think that, again, this is an important game. They need to make a statement here. Let me just, real quick, let me just say, we're here, the 12 Nights of Ruckus Sports Hub with Wayne and Clark. I want to say welcome, Brooksy. Salute to you. I want to salute all the listeners that are on there and wishing you all happy holidays from Wayne and Clark on Sports Hub. Now, Sports Hub. Yeah, man. Hey, listen. So here's the thing. Getting on this game here. I'm honestly, I've said this. You got to give me this. Cleveland Browns believe in themselves this year. They are winning games. Some of them are ugly. Some of them are not. But they're winning. Would you say?
They are.
I believe they're going to win this game. And you and I are going to have a conversation when the game's over. And you're going to say to me, you were right.
Look, I have not disputed that the Browns would win this game. I just am not confidently going touchdown win. It's going to be really
confidently going.
You're
and
great.
I know that Mr. J says that I'm absolutely absurd. And maybe I am. I might be out of my mind. People have said I'm out of my mind.
When did your Baker Mayfield jersey get here? You jumping on that bandwagon too?
Oh, jeez, man. Hey, listen, you are misinterpreting. I never said I was a Giants fan. You are absolutely absurd.
You told me.
I was rooting for the Bucks to win.
No,
we were arguing. Everybody, listen. Unfortunately, my friend Wayne, he doesn't have a very good long-term, and I do. And I have receipts. I have a recording that shows me arguing with Melo and telling him the Bucks are going to win and that the Giants suck.
Yeah, that's because you like to sow chaos and you jump from team to team.
Come on, man. Listen. You can say whatever you want. The bottom line is that I do believe in the Bucks, and I have been a fan of the Bucks throughout the years. And let me tell you, I get disenchanted with them? Yeah, sure I did. You know why? Because there was a lot of mismanagement. There was a lot of bad coaching. There was a lot of bad play. And yeah, it was a frustrating situation. But I never, ever professed to be some diehard Bucks fan, and I never professed to not be a fan. So for you to come and make accusations that I have jumped on the bandwagon, that I'm a fair weather fan, Mr. J. No, I'm not.
You are.
I disagree.
Look here, Clark. Let me tell you something. I love you, man. You're my guy. You know, and you know nothing.
Thank you, Cliff Bravo.
Nothing but love. But you are a fair weather fan.
You, sir, are incorrect.
No, I'm
I
not.
disagree with you, and I'm not a fair weather fan. And now you might be an obsessive fan
That's
because
true.
you're willing to throw down money on the Saints, even when in the back of your mind you probably think, I don't think this is a good bet,
Called
but you'll still
loyalty,
go
sir.
blindly into
Loyalty.
the light.
Loyalty. Win or lose, loyalty.
I call loyalty. You call what you call loyalty. I call blind ignorance
So what you're saying is
to the
you are a
facts.
fair weather fan.
I am not saying that.
That's what it
I'm
sounded like.
saying that I go with the facts. Listen, there are people on this chat room right now. First of all, Cliff Bravo, thank you very much. He says that Clark, Kent, and Wayne are a dope team. We appreciate that. Amazing Confection says shots were fired by Wayne. Yes, we know this, but those shots were hollow. They were blanks. And then let's talk. Okay, David Wayne says, why are you a loyal fan, Wayne? So we're putting you on the spot
Why
by
am
the
I loyal?
listeners.
Why am I a loyal fan? Let's
Yes,
see.
by
So
David Wayne.
this I'm gonna a little personal with you here. I'm from South Mississippi, about an hour from New Orleans. Okay, nothing around there whatsoever. The closest thing to us, and the really only thing we have growing up, is sports. Okay, my father and I's bond in life is the Saints, and he'll probably text me about that later. But that's the truth. That's the bond I think that I have with my father is the Saints, and with that has come a lot of bonding moments and some of the greatest, most exciting moments that I think we've shared together have involved the Saints. So there comes some loyalty with that and those moments that I've had in my life. So that's why I'm loyal.
Okay, fair enough.
Fucking right is fair enough.
I mean, fair enough. Hey, listen, I mean, you bring up a great point. HB2N, I did not root for the fake Steelers team in the Dark Knight Rises with Hines as a football player. No, I did not. So sorry, you're wrong there. And Cliff Bravo, you are an amazing listener, and you are an amazing human being. And I salute you for your continued positive and constructive feedback, my friend.
I
But
can't see
yeah,
the comments. Is Cliff Bravo just like complimenting you? I can't see the comments right now.
by the way, David Wayne says to you, Kyle. I mean, I'm sorry, Wayne. I was thinking of one of the callers in the chat room. He says, "Proud of my boy. He's proud of you."
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yep, we believe Wayne. John Paul Shelton says, "Okay, what is this? Is this everybody gang up with Wayne against me? Come on now, I don't need pitchforks going at me. Jeez." Salute to Wayne for being from Mississippi. I wonder if he ever has been to P Valley. Have you
No,
been to P Valley?
no idea where that is.
He has no idea where that is. Yeah. So I mean, but yeah. So I mean, listen, it's a lot of great tips today. A lot of interesting stuff happening in the world of NFL. I did want to give a shout out to one of the listeners, Justin. He was talking about when are we, Wayne? When are we going to talk about, or are we ever going to talk about the NHL? And so, do you want to kind of
Let's
give him
go
a
Bolts.
preview that we?
Let's go Bolts. Let's go Bolts. That's
Well,
what
there you have.
that's what you have to look forward to.
Well, there you have it. We have a Tampa Bay Lightning fan in the house. Wayne has definitely put his line in the sand. I agree with him. I think the Tampa Bay Lightning is an amazing team, and I was with the Tampa Bay Lightning as far as since the beginning when they came to the Tampa Bay area. I think they're an amazingly strong team that is run by the Vinnick, right, family, Vinnick, and just amazing what they've done to bring to the Tampa Bay area,
I can't
and
wait to
we
see,
definitely will be talking to
I can't
NHL.
wait to see you become a Rangers fan or something in about February. Really looking forward to that.
Yeah, there's not going to be any fans. Mills says the 12 nights of Ruckus Sports Hub with Wayne and Clark. Thank you very much, Mills Lane. Ruckus says Ron Clark. We don't need that. Mills Lane says let's go Flyers. All right, so we do have a lot of NHL fans in the building.
We'll definitely talk some hockey. Here coming up here as the season nears.
Oh
But
yeah. To
I
close out, though, Wayne,
go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
know that you wanted to talk college football. So do you want to kind of bring everyone up to speed what happened over the weekend?
I don't, but I mean, we all saw Florida get embarrassed by LSU, which was, I didn't love that. Um, so, not much to say there aside from the fact that, Florida can't stop anyone apparently on defense, and turnovers, even though some of them were kind of fluky, did them in. So, it looks like a 5-team race right now in the college football playoff. But that's all I have to say about that. Clark, you wanna wrap this up?
Hey, real quick, Amazing Confection says to Wayne, did you guys talk about Keontae Johnson yet? His grandfather made an official statement.
I haven't seen any news about that, and except for about 30 minutes ago, that I read that he was able to follow commands, but there wasn't any update beyond that. So I don't know if there was something else other than that, which I
Gotcha.
guess that
And
was
for
about
those
an
of
hour and
us that are not aware, was this player injured?
No, he's a basketball player. He was walking back to the bench and passed out, and was in
Oh
critical
wow.
condition. That was that information came out on Saturday.
Oh
I
wow.
haven't seen a lot of updates around the details of it, which I'm sure his family's trying to keep it pretty private.
Yeah, it sounds
But
like. I mean, hopefully it wasn't a bad stroke, but it sounds like a stroke.
yeah, I don't even want to speculate because I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know the details.
Right. No, no, I definitely understand that. I mean, yeah, that's sad. But on a lighter note, we got a lot of great games happening. We're getting to the final stretch. I want to remind everyone that it is the 12 Nights of Ruckus, night number 2. Tune in tomorrow as there might be a potential for a show with the Haunt Entertainment Show with MQ and maybe a guest. But I wouldn't hold my breath if I were you. More likely, you'll get a show with Big Rich on the check-in and Clark. So this is Wayne and Clark reporting to you from the 12 Nights of Ruckus. We are signing out. Rain, anything to say before we close out?
Can't wait to make fun of you next week, sir.
Oh, well, great. All right. Well, this is Clark on the Sports Hub. You guys have a great night. 12 Nights of Ruckus.